Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a great day and above all else, eternity looking after yourselves and one another. Today, ladies and gentlemen, before I get into the topic of another fantastic episode, I want to welcome back to the channel Mr. Ken Cheshire. How's it going, Ken?
Going well, Armando. Thank you for having me back.
Thank you for coming back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Going Back. We are going to be looking at our favorite albums from the year 1979. And before I continue, uh, the idea for this episode came from an individual on X that goes by the name of New Zealand Net Radio. And I want to thank him very much for this idea and for suggesting that Ken and I do this show together because originally I was going to do this on my own. But you know
Yes, he's
what?
a, he's he's a highly recommended follow on X. So
Yes, please
if
do
you're a
follow
music
him on
lover,
X. Yes,
highly recommended.
very highly. And
Great guy.
fantastic individual.
Yeah.
And again, as I said, originally I was going to do this solo, but it's no fun doing it solo. So Ken and I have such a wonderful time together. We decided to tackle this list as a duo. We've each come up with 20 albums, and we are going to do this in two parts to make it easier for us to bring to you and for you to take in, use, listen to me. Can't speak today. I only have tea in my cup, I swear to God. Now, in part one, yes, I know. In part one, we are going to go through albums 20 through 11. Shut up. And in part two, we're going to give you numbers 10 through 1 on our list. Now, let me set this up for you. 1979, disco was on its way out. New wave was on its way in. Punk was pretty much like passing gas. It came and went without much of anything here in North America. And what was on TV? Dallas, Knots Landing, my favorite. Happy Days, Mork and Mindy. Ugh. Anyway, music was at a bit of a crossroads. As I said, again, you had disco fading out, new wave coming in. Uh, Rock was just turning a corner at this point in time. We have hopefully brought a list to you that is an eclectic list, a varied list in terms of musical styles. And hopefully, we'll be discussing albums that, if you haven't heard for a while, maybe you've rediscovered them through this episode. Now, Ken is going to go first because, again, I was brought up right by my mama. Miss you, mama. And yeah, this is going to be a hell of an episode, two-parter. So, Ken, what is your number 20?
My number 20, Evolution by Journey.
Ah,
Their fifth album. I prefer, as far as Journey, my favorite is Infinity, the one that came before that.
okay.
But which of course was Perry's first album with them. But yeah, 1979. I just graduated high school. Was at Florida State University, um, doing a really good job at you know working my way to getting kicked out, playing in a cover band. So all this stuff was really and always discovering stuff. And my band used to always love to play Journey. This was
Hmm.
their fifth album, Evolution, their fifth album. Um, Part of the strength of this album and of the band at this point uh, really increased with the vocals, not just Perry's lead vocals, but the way that they harmonized. They dubbed and did the harmony, with a couple of other guys in the band.
Yeah, Greg
Um,
Raleigh and yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and this album really solidified what would be the epic Journey sound that would continue and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Um, One of the tracks I really love, "Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin'." I didn't look at my CD, but looking online, the sole writing credit of that goes to Perry. And if that is true, um, you know, it really shows that he didn't just write the lyrics. He was more of an integral part in the creative process as far as um, forming these songs and these albums. City of the Angels and uh, Just the Same Way, which is not a Perry vocal, and it's an excellent song.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was played the heck out of this, and we did a couple of songs in the band off this. But yeah, number 20, Evolution by Journey,
Yeah, that's a good one.
solid album.
That's a good one. I like that it starts off with Majestic, the instrumental,
Yes,
and then it's just
goes on.
a
Yeah,
huge piece, just a minute and change, but just a really good way to introduce the album.
yeah,
Produced by Roy Thomas Baker,
mm-hmm.
second for the band, that he produced. Wonderful. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I have that actually. I haven't heard that one in years, but it's a good album. My number 20, ladies and gentlemen, and before I continue, the ones I picked, some of them, reason for picking them is that they had that one song on them that for me just caught my attention. There were days when you bought an album just for one bloody track. Okay. You may not listen to the rest of the album, but man, you'd love that one bloody song, So, my number 20 is Gary Newman with The Pleasure Principle,
Ooh, okay.
released on September 7th, 1979, featuring the monster track Cars. What was so interesting to me about this was that, first of all, the production, very sort of futuristic in the production, and his look. His look
Yeah,
was very sort of, dare I say, androgynous in terms of, the makeup and, the way he dressed, and he looked futuristic.
yeah.
Okay. And even though this was basically where music was heading in terms of the style of music that was coming out, uh, this was still fresh and brand new, and it was just something that just stood out in terms of even his vocal delivery was very almost robotic.
Yeah.
Um, just sort of one note kind of thing, like very sort of monotone, I guess, and the way he delivered it. It's
Mhm.
if that's the right way to describe it. It was a very unique track, and if you look on the album, if I'm not mistaken, most of all those songs, if not most of them, if not all of them, are all one word tracks, like one word titles.
Could be, yeah.
So it's very very unique, very unique. And this song is still played
Oh, yeah.
on classic rock radio today. So just one of a kind, one of a kind. And he's still releasing albums to this day.
Yes.
So my number 20, Gary Newman, Pleasure Principle.
Woohoo.
Okay.
You okay?
Your
Number
next one.
19, we're going down to New Zealand with Split Ends and their album Frenzy. This is their fourth album, the second album with Neil Finn on guitar,
Mhm.
joining his brother Tim. But this is the first album that he actually does some lead vocals. He did lead vocals on two songs, and this album also has his first co-writing credits. Of course, the next album, True Colors, would see him really stand out, from the band. But this album, this album really caught my attention. This is one of those albums that really demonstrated where this band was going to go, not unlike what I just said about Journey. Um, specifically, the two songs that really stand out to me is
Mhm.
the opening track, "I See Red." Very, very high energy, very catchy, and the other song, "Give It a Whirl." which is co-written by Neil and Tim, and Neil Finn's first lead vocals. You know,
Cool.
it's not a perfect album like some of their later albums would be, but there again, it is a true springboard album um, that really showed where they were going. It gave Neil Finn a chance to get a little bit more involved in the creative process and not just a member of the band. And we know where Neil ended up. You know, big hit writer for the band, and then going on to um, conquer the world with Crowded House to this day, still recording and touring. And there is a reunion of Split Ends in the making right now. They are in rehearsals, getting ready to tour.
Perfect.
I'm hoping we're going to see an album out of it.
You never know. You
Never
never
know.
know.
Never know.
Yeah, Crowded House. I do believe I remember hearing about a band named Crowded House. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Something about them. A pretty good band,
something.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good choice. It's a good choice. My number 19, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a long show. I have. If you think this is funny, you should have seen the outtakes. Um, my number 19, ladies and gentlemen, Toto with Hydra. Uh, Released October 26th, 1979. The follow-up sophomore release to their self-titled debut from 78, featuring the singles 99 and St. George and the Dragon. This album, in some circles, was listed as a progressive rock album. In other circles, a rock album. I would list this as an art rock slash rock album. It wasn't a big hit for the band, but the song 99 as a single does stand out for me.
Yep.
Um, Steve Lukather, my God, just an amazing guitarist. The Picaro brothers, you know, just wonderful. Jeff and Steve, David Page
Yeah.
on keyboards, forget about it. These guys were the session musicians to go to if you wanted, your album or your songs recorded by, top-notch musicians. These were the ones to go to. Um, and it's a good album. Again, the one single that does stand out for me is 99. I need to listen to it some more. I have the Columbia Years box set
Yep.
somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle across the hall. And yeah, it wasn't a big seller, but it still made its mark.
It did in
Still,
my house.
still
Yeah.
made its mark. Yeah. No, so that's my number 19, Toto with Hydra.
Cool. 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 Cool.
Keep going.
Okay. Um, what are we at? 18? Yeah, 18.
18.
Cars. Candio, the
Hmm.
follow-up to an incredible debut album. The second album was proof that the debut album was not just a fluke. Um, and one of the things about the Cars, part of the strength of the Cars was um, uh, they had two lead vocalists and
Yeah.
songwriters,
Yeah.
and it really did work. It gave them really two very distinct sounds vocally um, to complement. So you don't get used to just Orr's song or Ocasic's songs or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Um, it gave it a duality that we'll experience a little bit later on in my list with another couple of artists. If you
Oh,
think you
okay.
know what it is, comment downstairs, down below. Um,
Please do.
yeah, songs like "Let Go," "It's All I Can Do," the title track "Candio," and "The Dangerous Type." Man, I tell you, um, yeah, for the 19 or I guess I was 20. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I was just turned
Lord.
20.
Oh,
Um,
Lord.
yeah, played the heck out of this. Again, we did several of these songs in my band, and oh, good memories. Candio, the Cars, number 18.
Good one. Good one. Um, yeah, again, produced by Roy Thomas Baker
Yep,
for Elektra Records. Um, yeah, yeah, just very unique at the time.
yep,
All right, my number 18, The Knack with Get the Knack. Released June 11th, 1979, with the two singles, My Sharona and Good Girls Don't,
yep.
which is bullshit, but that's okay.
But I
Um,
do.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Uh, My Sharona again is still playing on classic rock radio today. And it was just very unique. They had a very unique sound. And though they had a hell of a guitar solo in the middle break section,
Oh yeah,
just wonderful. And I'm a little pissed off that K97 usually plays the edited version without the extended guitar solo. But if you can listen to the full version on the album, it's a hell of a fucking solo. I swear, it's like
yeah.
just good power pop rock album. And the second single, "Good Girls Don't," but I do. Uh, just another wonderful track on the album. And as I said, most of some of these selections I have, it's the one, it's the one song syndrome, in that it's the one track on the album that kind of caught my attention for these
Yeah.
albums. Not all of them, but some of them. But it was just a good, you know, debut release from a very interesting band. But yeah, that's my number 18, The Knack with Get the Knack.
Oh yeah, it's that was huge where I grew up. I mean, just absolute pure, unfiltered power pop.
Yeah.
Just oh yeah, it still
Mm.
stands up very well today.
Hmm.
Anyway, number 17, um, from across the pond,
Yes.
we're going with the Jam with their fourth album, Setting Suns. The Jam is part of a big mod revival of the '60s,
Hmm.
the British mod culture. Um, just another another. How many times can we say it's a great album? Um, but
As many times
the
as we
Jam,
bloody
and
well
the thing
want.
about the Jam is they released not a lot of albums, but the albums they released really close together. I mean,
Yeah, Paul Weller,
just
yeah. Yeah.
absolute. Paul Weller was just amazing. Um, the songs that particularly stand out, Eaton Rifles, or Eaton Rifles, not like devouring, but anyway. Um, and another real track on this album, really good track I love, is Smithers Jones, which was actually written by Bruce Foxton, the bassist. I don't feel he gets enough credit for his contribution to the Jam. It's that standard kind of new wave post punk Rickenbacker bass sound that just really stood out. For me, I just love that sound. And I think also the one cover on this album that I think really stands out is Heatwave, the old Holland Dozier Holland track from the
Okay.
60s. This is one of my favorite covers of that song, and
Hmm.
it's been covered a lot of times. But anyway, I still love the Jam to this day. So that's my number 17, Setting Suns.
Okay. Okay. Unfortunately, the only track I really know from the Jam is a Town Called Malice. Uh,
Rightfully so.
just yeah, yeah. Um, Good choice. I'm doing a
That's
switch.
and Town Called Malice is another example of Foxton's incredible bass line.
Are they using a Farfisa organ on that?
Probably.
Yeah. It has the Farfisa has a really unique sound
Yeah,
to it. It's like you know that it's a Farfisa when you hear it,
yeah,
it's like, okay, all right. It's like a
yeah,
Rickenbacker bass, right? When you hear the
yeah,
Rickenbacker.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
All
was
right.
part of that new wave sound.
That yeah, mod new wave. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Just think Elvis Costello and the Attractions. Yeah, early.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. My number 17 is a switch out.
Ooh.
Little River Band
Oh,
with First Under the Wire, released July 5th, with the lead off track and single Lonesome Loser. I was 9 years old when this came out. I didn't even, I was 2 months shy of turning 9 years old. I
yikes.
remember hearing this on yikes. I was up uh, at a cottage with my sister and future brother-in-law at the time in the summer, and this came on the AM. We had AM transistor radio, and when this came on the radio, and just the a cappella intro, and the song really just caught my attention.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
and it's just a really good song and a great band. They had a big hit in '78 with Reminiscing from the previous
Yep.
album, and the hits just continue up to this point. You know, again, one of those albums where the one track really grabs you, as a single and just pulls you in, kind of thing. You may not stick around, but it's still a a good album, right, or a good band. So that's my number 17, Little River Band with First Under the Wire.
Beaten by the Queen of Hearts every time.
Time,
Yeah.
yes.
Little River Band didn't doesn't get enough credit.
No, they
Part
don't.
of it, part of this because I think they were at the time they were overshadowed by bands that were bigger, like Styx and bands like that that
Yeah,
were a bit more. I don't know, but those Little River bands, the songs are incredibly hooky
yeah,
and the harmonies are amazing.
yeah.
The vocals and the harmonies are amazing. Okay.
Just
Well,
done.
I'm
Yeah.
going to take us off into left field for number 16.
I bet you will.
Well, I tell you, um, Pat Metheny, New Chautauqua, his
Okay.
fourth, his fourth album. It is a true solo album in that, he plays everything on it, dubbing. Um, and this album spans from uh, songs that are meditative to the downright experimental.
Oh yeah.
So, but I just love this is before he got into the guitar synthesizers, um, and just that clean guitar sound and what he's doing with it
Oh yeah.
is just absolutely amazing. And when he layers other guitar parts on top of it, um, it's like sprinkles on a chocolate cake. It's just a little bit more. Just when you think it's good enough, he makes it gooder.
Ken said gooder.
I said gooder. Write it down.
Eh? Mm-hmm. Gooder. Gooder.
That's right. And we
Okay.
never make up words on this channel.
Damn right. All right. That's a good one. My number 16. This is one of the first crossovers that we have on the list. The Cars with Candy O, released June 2nd, 1979. Everything that Ken said in a bag of chips, just cut and paste. I mean,
Yeah.
with the lead off track and single, let's go, featuring
Wow,
Benjamin
wow,
Orr.
wow,
Yeah,
wow, 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 wow.
Benjamin Orr, amazing vocalist
Yeah.
and bassist for the band, and Elliot Easton's guitar
Guitar
work
work.
with the band. I mean, come on, just it's like a mic drop all over the place.
It's like, how can a
Um,
little guy play that well?
exactly, exactly. Um, it made an impact. I mean, the album, The debut album, self-titled, went 6 times platinum in North America. This went 4 times platinum. Um, each album sold a little bit less. It went platinum and then gold and what have you.
Yeah.
But but they did make an impact,
The impact is there.
you know, and they were a good hybrid between uh I wouldn't exactly call them heavy rock, but they were a good hybrid between new wave and power pop,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then when they got to Heartbeat City with Robert John Mutt Lang, I believe you know him as Mr. Shania Twain.
Yep.
When he came in for production, they went into synth pop, with that album, with songs like Drive and You Might Think, etc. But at
Yeah.
this point, they were riding a wave, right? They were just, riding a good wave of success with the debut release, and this was a good, decent follow-up to it. So that's
Maybe
my
we
number
should
6.
say they were driving a wave.
We could, we could stick around, ladies and gentlemen. It only gets worse. Don't worry about it.
If your weight person, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. That's my number 16, The Cars
Cool.
with Candy-O.
Okay. So I left everybody in left field with Pat Metheny. So put on your neck brace, get ready for Whiplash. We're headed straight into right field with XTC and Drums and Wires. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was of course their third album. It's their first with Dave Gregory, which uh, I feel again doesn't get as much recognition for his contribution to the band. And as a guitar, he's a fabulous guitar player.
Yeah.
I think the last thing I listened to of his, he did a stint in Big Big Train for a while. And but anyway, this was also the first album produced by Steve Lillywhite, one of my favorite producers.
Yeah.
Uh, and this was a new beginning for the band after after the first two albums. And this was a time when Colin Moulding was I don't know any other way to put it. So forgive me, allowed to contribute more songs per album.
That's the only way to put it. I'm sorry to say. Go on.
And my two favorite songs off the album are Colin Moulding songs. Of course, Making Plans for Nigel and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, 10 Feet Tall. You know, other good tracks on the album too. To me, they wouldn't really hit their stride until the next album, Black Sea.
Yeah.
But yeah, this like the other albums I mentioned so far, this was a pivotal album for this band that would
Hmm.
just go on and blow people's and artists' minds. This is another album, as you would say, it was very influential. Maybe not on the market as a whole, but definitely with other musicians.
All right. No, good choice. Good
Okay.
choice. My number 15, ladies and gentlemen. This is another diversion here and into another genre, I should say. Donna Summer with Bad Girls, released April 25th, 1979. Uh, yeah, double album featuring the singles, the title track, Bad Girls, Hot Stuff, Dim All the Lights, Sunset People, which, as we were talking off camera, appeared in various films, um, for whatever reason. But, featuring uh, Harold Faltermeyer on keyboards, uh, Jeff Skunk Baxter on guitar for either Bad Girls or Hot Stuff. I think it was Hot Stuff. Although he had stated that he would never play a session for a disco album because he thought disco as the enemy.
This wasn't just any disco, though.
No, no. he played, okay? Um, and I remember I was telling uh, Ken off camera that my sister Anna bought me this album, when I was a kid, and I'm 8 years old, getting into this. I mean, what 8 year old listens to Donna Summer albums and music in general like that, like really deep. But this was a really good album. It was really this was her last album for Casablanca. She would sign
Blanca.
with Geffen Records in 1980. And I remember looking at it thinking, oh my God, a double album of my very own that I could listen to. I mean, like just an amazing album, an amazing album. And this has been released on CD with additional bonus extended remixes of Bad Girls, Hot Stuff, etc. Um, and Dim All the Lights. But yeah, it was just a really good, solid uh, piece of dance music on two sides of vinyl, or four sides of vinyl, I should say. Yeah, keeping in double CD, but there we go. Mistakes and all. There you go. That's one number 15, Donna Summer, Bad Girls.
You know, I can see little Armando around the house singing ah toot toot beep beep.
No,
Did
I even then thought that was a bit nuts.
you hadn't grown into it yet?
No, I never grew into that part of it, but I did enjoy the album.
There
I
you
thought it
go.
was a
Yeah, it
really
was
good.
great. And I'm not a big fan of disco. I bought it at the time. It's just, I mean, some just really good music. Donna Summer here again didn't get enough credit uh,
Yeah,
for for her singing. She had a phenomenal voice.
oh, she did.
Still does,
She
yeah.
did. Rest in
Okay,
peace.
number 14 is going to be one of two soundtrack albums on my list. This is a soundtrack of the Who documentary, The Kids Are All Right. Um, this album was released in the documentary shortly after Keith Moon passed away the year before. And this film in where I was living in Tallahassee, Florida at the time, there was a theater that used to show, I don't know, I guess probably theaters still do in big cities, but midnight movies on the
Yeah.
weekends,
Oh yeah.
which would be, cult favorites. That's where Rocky Horror got its uh, notoriety from. But the theaters also started showing this. The Kids Are All Right.
Mhm.
And whereas I was familiar with Who's Next, I really wasn't familiar with much other stuff. And this is a wonderful documentary. This is an excellent entry for people that want to find out who were, as it is. It's basically a live greatest hits album
Yeah.
up until that point, even including Baba O'Reilly and Won't Get Fooled Again live at Shepherd's Bush, which was Keith Moon's final live performances. So knowing that at the time, one would get a little tear. Um, but
Hmm.
like I said, the film and the album are just really great. It was a good representation of the Who during the Keith Moon years. And it's just always great to see clips of bands playing live, from the early hits right on through Who's Next. So the
Hmm.
soundtrack to The Kids Are All Right by The Who, number 14.
Good choice. Good choice. My number 14, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers with Damn the Torpedoes. Yes.
Remember,
Uh,
folks, you don't have to live like a refugee.
there you go. There you go. One of the great singles from the album, released on October 19th, 1979. This was the album that I do believe that broke the band. It
Yep.
was a massive hit. produced by Jimmy Iovine and Tom Petty for Backstreet Records,
Yep.
which would eventually be, you know, distributed through MCA Records. Uh, yeah, this is, I mean, even the cover with him and the Rickenbacker guitar on the front cover. I mean, it's a classic. With the other single from the album, "Don't Do Me Like That." I mean, just an amazing track, a great album. I came to the party late with Tom Petty. It wasn't until after he passed where I really appreciated him as an artist. And I gotta tell you, it was his vocal style that really didn't interest me at first. But this is a great album, and if I may, if you guys can get the documentary of Running Down a Dream, it is phenomenal. As much of a Queen fan as I am, and I love Queen, I would put this documentary above all of the Queen documentaries that have come out over the years. And I sit by that because I can't stand. But I sit by that. And it is just wonderful. This album is great. It was a influential album. It was, again, the album that broke them open in terms of success and popularity. And again, it's Don't Do Me Like That and Refugee Again is still played on classic rock radio today. So, check it out if you haven't. And if you haven't, what are you waiting for? Really. So that's my number 14, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Damn the Torpedoes.
Excellent. Number 13, Communique by Dire Straits. Um, Another example of an incredible sophomore album. Um, actually, better than a sophomore album has the right to be. So, again, this follows up their incredible debut album. Um, Shows that the first album wasn't a fluke, it wasn't a flash in the pan. It's a little more laid back, um, kind of more mid-tempo songs rather than particularly upbeat. But
Hmm.
oh man, really good. And the two tracks that particularly stand out for me, if I had to pick two, is the song "News" and "Single-Handed Sailor." Um, yeah, just a real, you for me, I always these days I forget it's so good I forget it's just their second album. Because a lot of times really good bands, it takes them maybe 3 or 4 albums to get into their stride, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, no. And actually, I loved the first album so much when it came out that I was a little bit, it's like, oh man, how can they top this? Well, I don't know that they top it, but but to me, it just showed that, like I said, their debut wasn't a flash in the pan. Communicate, Dire Straits, my number 13.
Great choice. My number 13 was added to the list very late. I was going to say late, very list. List very late. There is only tea in the cup. Uh, it's Eagles with the Long Run.
Ooh,
September 24th, 1979. Their last release as a band until uh, you know, uh,
the country album, yeah.
yeah, their last album in 2008, Long Road Out of Eden. Sorry, it's been one of those days, ladies and gentlemen. The Long Run featured the singles "Heartache Tonight," co-write with Bob Seger. Other songs of note: "Sad Cat Faye," "In the City," lead vocal by Joel Walsh. "I Can't
Oh,
Tell You Why," lead vocal by Timothy B. Schmidt. It's, my God, the title track, it just an amazing album. Unfortunately, it would fall apart after this. And, the infamous quote of The Eagles will get together again when hell freezes over. Unfortunately, they couldn't hold it together after the release of this album due to conflicts in the band amongst band members. But for this album, they were still riding high, even though it took 18 months to put together and release. Fantastic album. Check it out. My number 13, Eagles with the Long Run.
Right. Yeah, the cracks had been there for quite a few years,
Yeah,
and gradually increasing, and this was just the proverbial straw on the camel's back.
yeah, yeah. And
Um,
I was just going to say, in the recent documentary that I watched a few years ago that I have, Joe Walsh had said, the record company didn't care if we released an album of burps and farts. All they wanted was product. End quote. Yeah, unfortunate.
yeah, because of all the money the record company made off of Hotel California. Now, don't get me
Exactly.
wrong, Hotel California is a great album, and it was
Hmm.
a monster at the time. But
Hmm.
uh, I don't think that it should overshadow um, a lot of the work on the long run, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
So, but there it is.
yeah.
Okay. Number 12 is my second soundtrack, film soundtrack. And this is by an album you may have heard of, Armando, is a band called The Who.
Who?
No,
Okay.
this isn't Deja Vu from the previous selection. Um, um, the soundtrack to Quadrophenia. Now, whereas The Kids Are All Right was a documentary, Quadrophenia was a film version of the Who's Quadrophenia album.
From
So it was,
73. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so it was a uh, actors and filling out the story and whatever. But obviously, they used a lot of the Who music in the film as background. Uh, but what makes this is not just an album rehashing the original Quadrophenia album. John Entwistle went into the studio and remixed the tracks from the original album. Um, he brought up Roger Daltrey's vocals in the mix. Daltrey was is noted for not being happy with his vocal mix in the original album. Entwistle brought that up, and he also re-recorded um, the most of the bass lines,
Yeah.
in particular, um, using an eight-string bass. So the bass parts on these songs are much punchier, and overall, the album is just a little bit more brighter sounding. Um, and it includes three new tracks, two which were recorded specifically for the soundtrack or for the album. Of course, Keith had passed away by then, so using Kenny Jones on drums. Those three tracks are really quite nice. They are in the style of the music in the story.
Hmm.
So yeah, and even has a couple of tracks of um, the Who were they were a band before they called themselves the Who, and actually recorded a couple of songs. So those are in there too.
Okay.
But the
That's
nice thing
cool.
about the vinyl, side four of this double album includes seven tracks from popular artists at the time of the story: James Brown, the Kingsmen, Booker T and the MGs, the Ronettes, and really where one might not visit that side, that fourth album side, it really does work really well within the context of the story.
Okay.
So the soundtrack album really is. a good little um, sidebar to the film. If
Hmm.
you like the film, you probably like the soundtrack album too, which I did.
Hmm.
This was my introduction to Quadrophenia, which would grow exponentially to be one of my two favorite Who albums.
Great. Oh, good choice.
Thank you.
Good choice. Well, you're welcome. All right. My number 12, ladies and gentlemen, we're going down another avenue for this one. Prince with his sophomore self-titled release, released on October 19th, 1979, same day that Tom Petty released Damn the Torpedoes. Uh, it's just well, I'm not gonna say an amazing album, a good album, a good indication of where he was going. He had released his debut album For You in April of '78, featuring the single Soft and Wet. Um, the the story is that he blew his budget on his. He had signed a four album deal with Warner Brothers. He blew his budget for his four albums on the one album. So Warner Brothers wanted to get him back in the studio to record another album to get the money back. Well, the rumor has it was he played all the instruments on the album, which he did on the earlier albums. He recorded this album in a record 3 weeks. He dispensed with Tommy Vicari as executive producer for the first album because he couldn't stand him. He didn't like to have somebody over him. Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet? So he got rid of him. And the record company, the rumor has it, record company being nervous that Prince was doing this album on his own, had Ray Parker Jr. drop in and listen to the album and get
So, in other words, who are you going to call?
Ray Parker Jr. There you go. And Ray Parker Jr. listened to what was going on and he called back to Warner Brothers and said, "You don't have to worry. This guy knows what he's doing. I don't know what I can do with this album. He knows what he's doing. Leave him alone. I'll take your money if you want.
Yeah.
Pay me if you want. But I ain't touching a damn thing. He knows what he's doing." This album had the songs "Wanna Be Your Lover," "Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad," and "Sexy Dancer" as the first three tracks on the album. That triple prong punch
Boom,
of
boom, boom. Yeah.
those three tracks, just it was killer. It was killer. Other songs of note are on side two, "Bambi," which when it was a foray into a guy having a lesbian for a girlfriend and wondering why she left him for a woman, wherein it's better with a man, according to the chorus. But it that was his first foray into rock. It was a balls against the wall rock track. It was a minor hit, but you know what? It got him noticed. Again, it was a step in the right direction for him. And "Want to Be a Lover" and "Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad" with a blistering guitar solo on the outro. Mic drop. Forget it. This is a good mix of rock and R&B and funk, and it was a good indication of where Prince was going, where he still had his own natural hair at this point. Jerry Kill hadn't even come into play yet, but that's another issue altogether. I'm not one to gossip, so you didn't hear that from me. But that's my number 12, Prince, self-titled from '79.
Excellent. Okay, my number 11, the last for this video. I'm going to go far away from your choice, Armando. I'm going with the Tubes and their album Remote Control. Their fourth album. Uh, it's a concept album about a TV addicted idiot savant. Yes, the concept album. Their first album to be produced by Todd Rundgren. Um, for the for those that only know Todd from his pop singles, I Saw the Light, Hello It's Me, phenomenal record producer. Absolutely. He would go on and produce one more by the Tubes later on. This was the group's firm move from glam to new wave. I didn't much care for earlier Tubes. You know, what was it? White Dope's on Punk or White Punk's on Dope? I
White
get those.
punks on dope. Yeah. White
Okay.
punks on dope. Yeah.
The other applies too. But anyway,
Okay. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. White dope's
it
on top.
really
Okay.
it really surprises me, or surprised me at the time, that what incredible musicians the members of this band were, because I don't associate punk music as being you know highly stylized music playing, instrument playing.
Yeah.
Oh, phenomenal. And the lead singer, Fee Waybill,
Yeah.
does not get enough credit for his vocals.
Oh, hell
And
no.
he really shines on this. It's really and you can hear Todd Rundgren's production in this, because there's times, especially with the layered um, background vocals, it sounds very Toddy, and there's another word for you, very Toddy. Um,
Very tawny.
Two outstanding tracks, "Turn Me On" and "Prime Time." I know there's a video uh, out there that they made for Prime Time, and I think there's one for "Turn Me On" too. But it's a very very enjoyable album, and for being a concept album, it really does have that concept feel because of that common thread that runs through everything. Armando, we did a video recently where we talked about a Todd Rundgren album that you felt it was too compressed, just
Yeah, Hermit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
sonically,
Yeah.
uh, and I would be curious to get
No, no, no.
your
Wrong
feelings
album.
if
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah,
Faithful. Faithful.
faithful,
Sorry.
to where if you feel that this album, having been produced by Todd, has that same sonic feel to it. Because we were talking about Faithful, I said, yeah, that might just be, the sound he was actually going for, and not trying to compress too much music onto vinyl, and therefore the sound suffering. But but anyway, I look forward to talking to you in the future about that and see
Yeah,
what
I
you're.
know. We'll do maybe we'll do an album discussion on that.
Yeah. But yeah, this is one of my two favorite albums by the Tubes. The other being the Completion Backwards Principle, which would follow thereafter. And but anyway, I've yammered enough on this. My number
Oh, that's
11, the
fine.
Tubes with Remote Control.
That's fine. That's fine. My number 11, and finishing off part one of going back, favorite albums of 1979, David Bowie with
Ooh,
Lodger,
ooh,
released May 25th, 1979. This was the third part of a trilogy, of the Berlin trilogy, first starting off with Low, then with Heroes, and finishing with Lodger, his work, sorry, produced by Tony Visconti, uh,
Scotty.
completing his work with Brian Eno, featuring the singles DJ, I Am What I Play, uh, Look Back in Anger, and Boys Keep Swinging. Also, other songs, A Fantastic Voyage. Um, this album, I mean, again, continuing his work with Brian Eno as part of the Berlin trilogy. This album is seen as less successful as the other, the previous two, in terms of, art rock or art pop. I would say art rock. But These three tracks, these three singles, DJ, Look Back in Anger, Boys Keep Swinging, they had the hook.
Yep.
They had the hook, and you know, the video for DJ costs such a stir because he's walking down the street in this video and he gets kissed by a guy on the lips. And he doesn't kiss the guy kisses him on the lips. And people are like, oh, people lost their wigs, flipped off their heads because, what is he doing? What is he doing? He was pushing the envelope. I mean, Boys
Sure.
Keep Swinging. He was dressed up in
Yeah.
drag
Yeah.
and looked good, actually. I think, until he smeared his makeup, on the
Yeah.
video.
Check out the video on YouTube. Sure.
Yeah. But this is just one of those albums that was highly talked about. And he would come back the following year with Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, featuring Ashes to Ashes and Fashion. Uh, this is a great album. Is it as successful as the previous two in my book? No. But these three tracks do make a statement,
Hmm.
and David Bowie was always an artist that did whatever the hell he wanted to do musically. And whether you liked it or not, he was going
Yeah.
to do it.
Yep.
He was going to do it. The worst thing you could do to any artist, especially David Bowie, was say, you can't do that. He'd say, you and the horse you came in on, and he'd do it anyway. Success or failure, the terms were his and his alone. That's
Yep.
basically it with David Bowie. So I think this album is fantastic. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
it was influential. It was
Yeah.
influential.
And
So
again,
that
it was showing where he was going for, Scary Monsters,
yeah,
which
and
my favorite Bowie album, but
yeah, and
his video.
scary monsters for just a second. What to me was also Bowie going into a more, I guess you call it, an industrial sound
A little
before
bit.
and before industrial was even a label,
Yeah.
a genre, you
Yeah.
know. So he was always
A
forward
bit.
thinking. Yeah, he was always forward thinking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Albums 20 to 11 from Ken and I on part one of Going Back, favorite albums of 1979. Please put down in the comments below your opinion of these albums, and or better yet, put down your choices
That's right.
of albums from 1979, your favorite ones. Again, we are not music experts in any form, shape, or fashion. We
Nope.
are just giving you what we like in terms of music, and we'd like to get your feedback on this. All
Hmm.
right. So join us for part two that's coming up. Please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. We have more shows that we're working on. We are coming back with an another episode of Acoustic Corner featuring Saga with the album Symmetry from 2021 through Ear Music. We're coming up with an album discussion on that. We're also going to be doing a series of episodes with Bill Schuster called Outlaws and Heroes, talking about country rock, one of Bill's favorite genres. Bill has a really eclectic taste in music, and he's going to be helming that episode. He's going to be in charge of it. So that's coming up. Again, we are coming back with going back favorite albums of 1979, part two. Please stay tuned for that. Click like and subscribe and join us on X uh, for your comments and critiques, and we will be back very soon. Take care of yourselves. Have a great day.